hopefully be able to demonstrate everything that we got to do today. So the first thing, okay, first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you inside of Google Classroom what's going on and where we're at. Please mute me. Hear me repeating myself over and over again. All right, so Unit 1, basically holes and alternative views. What you guys are going to do, please mute it. Mute it. Thank you. First thing you're going to do is this base plate. The second thing you're going to do is this drill bot. So what we're going to show you guys today is how to do all of these measurements, how to draw this thing in Fusion, and basically go from there. So the first thing, and what I'm going to show you inside of Fusion and inside of the block, what it should look like, you guys should see, is the drawing in the bottom left here, right? Shows you that, all that. So the drill block looks something like this. So if I show you how to draw this, we'll do that second, but I want to show you guys how to dimension all this first. Okay? So first thing you're going to do is after you draw this, and I'll show you in a sec, but you're going to go to drawing file, same thing we always been doing. I would leave this ASME, and I would leave it in C size. Press OK. Please don't try and do this as I do it, because it's way too much and you're going to miss stuff. Okay? So we have this. It comes in as a straight view. The only view you need is that top view like that. Okay, we're going to do the rest from all the buttons outside. I think this is a little small, so I'm going to double click that. I'm going to make this a 2:1 ratio, and then makes it pretty good size. Okay. The new stuff. So we just did one view, and I also delete this border. Just click the border and you press delete. The new stuff. We've done base so far. We've done projected. The next one over is called section. You click section. First thing it tells you to do is select a parent view, meaning just select the view you want to make a section on. The next thing you do is select the points that you want the cutting plane to go across. So in this case, the midpoint to the midpoint. And as you can see, that kind of brings this little open arm after I click. I then right click and press continue. If I just drag down my mouse and click, it generates the section view for me. I press OK, and as you can see, it makes everything that I needed to make. It only cut through one hole, it didn't cut through these other holes. That's all you basically need to do for that view. And you can see that down here, I can't point to it, but this down here that you guys see on the stream, everything in there needs to be dimensioned like you see it. So let's talk about that. It shows in here and it says that the first one, the big one, will do. These are leader lines. So over here, you'll see the arrow with a letter. You can click that, and then you can click these, basically these circles, and it leaves you anything you want to type inside of here. So in this case, it literally says diameter. All the symbols are here. Diameter is the first part, and then it says 0.80, and then it says space, and then it says through. You type in through. Press enter, and it says it's a countersink. So we're going to drop this down, look for countersink, press space, diameter, and then you're going to hear 0.1, 0.2 it says, and then it says times 82 degrees. Again, degrees is up here. Click that. Sorry, don't press enter, press close, and then you can see. Now it's really small. I would go down to the gear down here and make sure you go to annotation text height, change that to 0.240, and now you can see the pieces. Obviously, the rest of the dimensioning I'm not going to do. You guys can see how to do all that. And the only difference in the other one is the counter bore. Is there any questions on the drawing portion? Okay, how do we draw this thing in the first place? So what you need to do, and I'm just going to show you inside of the base plate here, sorry. You're going to see that some of the holes and all the extrusions. The first thing that you need to see is basically the holes themselves. So after you make the piece, it doesn't tell you in this drawing how thick it is, but I did tell you inside of Google Classroom. I said the base plate is 1 inch thick. Okay, so make sure you guys read that. It says it there. I also said to create a full section view of the base plate and create a full section plate of the drill block. Sorry, and that's just the other piece. Okay, so with that being said, it says to draw all these dimensions, and all you got to do is look at this diagram that I gave you right here, and you'll be able to identify all of those measurements using that information. So this thing pops up, and it's really easy just to kind of go through and see after I've told you what these numbers mean. First thing you're going to do is it says the extent. if I try to do, like for example, I'm trying to do these outside holes here, right? If I look at these outside holes, it's going to show me that I have, sorry, these outside holes right about here. If I try and draw those outside holes, the very big hole right here is basically going to be the 0.5, which it already says right there. The next part is going to be the depth, which is 0.2. It goes this far deep. The next part is that it's a counter bore in this case. So up here you see counter bore and counter sink. You can change simultaneously between those. Leave the hole tap type simple, and the drill point just always go to angle. Looks cooler. Okay? Beyond that, you need to figure out how far this is going to go down. It says right here that it's going to go 0.25 through. So I put 0.25 as far as the thickness going across this part, and then I come all the way up here and extends all. If you wanted to make it a distance, you just put distance, and you tell it how far you want it to go through the part. On those other ones, in the other drawing, for example, it doesn't show you through. It says it wants to go down 0.75 or whatever. That's where you put this in. If you don't need that and you want to go through the whole entire part, you put all and you press OK. When you're done, it should look something like this, where it's a counter bore within a block of whatever. Does that make sense? Okay, a couple problems I see people having. If you go through this and draw just I'm just drawing some random piece here. And I try and draw something in here, okay? First of all, there's nothing point-wise for the selection to hit. So if I hit hole, which is up here, and I try and make a hole, it's going to say, where's your point? What point are you picking? I don't have anything. So you can all draw that in the first place, which is what I did if I look at the base plate. Do you see how, and I'll take the body away, you see how I made all these points? If I go back into that sketch, the very first thing I did was put all of the dots where they need to go so that the holes have a place to be placed. So you got to do this first. After you do that, and then after you extrude, you guys know from experience that it goes away unless you check that eye back. See, the sketches are gone unless I click this in order to put it back. You're not going to be able to select them even after you drew them if you don't select this eyeball. Okay, it makes it viewable. So what I have people doing today is, first of all, they don't have anything drawn here. They either draw a circle and I figured out, okay, yeah, you're right, Mr. C, I didn't put any of the marks. Cool. Press finish sketch, and it's still there, not there. I didn't mark it. Okay? These pieces are going to be here now. Now I have the one point that I drew a line on, right? Doesn't help me at all. If you go back in the original sketch, you can mess with all that stuff, put your marks. I'll do it again, sorry. For some reason it didn't show up. There we go. Finish the sketch. Now it's there. Now it's viewable, and it's not there, it is there, it's not there, it's there. You got to make sure the eye's on it. The other problem I see people doing, they're going to the back. They're making the hole. They click the point that they want to make the hole in. And let's just say I want to go through all, in this case, I want it to be a counter bore. I'm just making random numbers up. It says no target body found. That's because if you look close enough, this arrow is pointing into space, not into the part. If you want to flip that, you just press this little button right here. It says extents. It goes back into the part then, and then you'll be able to adjust. Now, again, in real world, they just kind of do this to figure out what they want it to be, but you're going to mess with all this later. Does that make sense? You're going to put all this information in, and then all you're going to do is make the drawing files with all the dimensions. So the first step, make the part. Second step, go into drawing file, do all of the title block, or the drawing file sections with all the dimensions and all that kind of stuff. Okay? Questions or concerns? Okay, that is it, guys. Have fun. All in inches.